Happy day, water signs. Welcome to your weekly reading for the week of July 2nd through July 8th. I am grateful to you for being here with me, for tuning in, for listening, and for receiving what it is that Spirit might have for you with this reading, through this reading. I hope, water signs, that you are doing well wherever you are. I'm seeing the word transition, and so I'm just kind of feeling like this transitional energy. And so Spirit may be asking you to really pay attention to how you are moving through the transitions that you're being faced with, okay? What are you relying on to help you ground, right? Because a lot of times we focus on this idea or concept of coping rather than grounding. So Spirit is saying, let's practice grounding over coping and see how that can begin to shift and change things for you, water signs. Okay, so that's coming through super heavy right now, is just this conversation about you going through some transitions and really reflecting on how you are handling moving through those transitions. Okay, are you choosing to cope, or are you taking out some time to intentionally ground your energy, to ground your mind, to ground your heart, okay, to ground your spirit, to ground your physical body? So really paying attention to that throughout this next week, okay, paying attention to how you are responding to the transitions, paying attention to how you are responding to the change that's occurring in your life, okay? And really taking inventory over how have you been handling the transitions over the last few months, right? Everything that you've been experiencing and going through, how have you been handling that? Have you been nurturing yourself? Have you been, again, grounding yourself and bringing yourself back home to you? Have you been coming back to the center, right? Back to the core of who you are? Or are you just making it? Are you just getting by? Nothing wrong with that, but Spirit wants you to hear that you have the power within you to ground yourself. You have the power within you to really create some intentional change for yourself, to really make things better for yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and energetically, okay? So Spirit really wants you to take a step back and to reflect and just to take inventory, right? And so that's what's coming through for you this week. That's the energy for this next week for you. So let's see what else is here. We have the Victory and Success Oracle card. Victory and Success Oracle card. So if you can integrate what I was just speaking to, right? So if you can make this shift from coping to grounding, you're going to find yourself feeling more victorious. You're going to find yourself experiencing more success because now you're taking control, right? In a heart-centered way. You're taking control in a heart-centered way, whereas you've been trying to control things. You've been trying to control this transitional phase that you're in. You've been trying to control it with your ego, right? And so Spirit is saying, if you can integrate, if you can make the changes, if you can move from coping to finding ways to help you ground, right? Because a lot of times whenever we cope, we're just doing what we can to get by, right? And Spirit is saying, we no longer want you to just do what you can to get by. We want you to be grounded. We want you to feel this warmth from the inside out. We want you to feel the warmth of your own light moving you, creating change on your behalf, okay? And what you're coming into as you make that change is this feeling of just a victory, right? A feeling as if you've reached the mountaintop, right? You've been climbing the mountain. And so if you can move from coping to grounding, you will find yourself reaching the mountaintop, okay? You will find yourself reaching the mountaintop and being able to blow the horn to acknowledge yourself, to acknowledge yourself and your power, okay? And so that's what's on the other side of this week for you, is just this feeling of victory and feeling successful, right? Feeling mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically, spiritually, feeling a sense of success within yourself, right? It may not even be because you've done anything in particular, right? Whenever we think about success, whenever we think about victory, we think in terms of, oh, I have to go out and accomplish this, okay? But Spirit wants you to honor and acknowledge that your ability to care for yourself, your ability to nurture your well-being and to show up for your wellness from the inside out is you achieving and accomplishing something, all right? So that needs to be acknowledged, okay? We have the Ten of Wands, okay? Ten of Wands is your first card, okay? Ten of Wands is your first card. And again, the Ten of Wands, right? Speaking to this energy, speaking to this idea that you've been trapped, that you've been entangled within some things that maybe you're ready to let go of, maybe you're ready to step out of, whether it's emotions, right, that have been overwhelming you, whether you've been entangled within emotions, okay? Also, some of you may be entangled you may be entangled in thoughts, in certain thoughts that you have about yourself, right? Because the wands represent this solar plexus energy, okay? And so when we're looking at the Ten of Wands, what we're seeing is that this sense of you being entangled with thoughts that are self-defeating thoughts, right? With these limiting thoughts that you hold on to about yourself, right? They are what are keeping you entangled. It's not life that is causing you to have to cope, right? It's your thoughts and your interpretations about life. It's your perspectives about yourself that you're holding on to, okay? And so the Ten of Wands is noting a new beginning, right? The Ten of Wands is noting a new beginning. So if you can, again, move from coping to grounding, what can you do to ground, right? Research some things, whether it's meditating, getting outside, spending time in nature, right? Meditating with water or getting in water, okay? We're in Cancer season right now, so getting in water could be very beneficial, listen, and I'm speaking to the water signs, okay? So getting in some water could be very healing, very beneficial for you during this season, all right? Because the Ten of Wands is really speaking to this idea that you're needing to experience like this deep cleansing from the inside out, okay? And the Ten of Wands is saying mentally you're needing to cleanse your thoughts because these thoughts are blocking you from seeing yourself properly, okay? So we really want to meditate, reflect, contemplate over what thoughts have I been allowing myself to be entangled in lately? And what do I need to do to surrender these? Okay, not even what do I need to do to surrender these, but what thoughts have I been allowing myself to be entangled in lately? And what new thoughts, what truths do I need to ground into? Okay, we want to be very intentional with making that shift. So you want to ask your heart, what thoughts, what truths do I need to ground into? Okay, so there's two questions. What thoughts have I allowed myself to be entangled in lately? And then the other question, the question that will lead you to healing, okay, is what thoughts, what truths do I need to ground into? All right. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, okay? We have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is definitely speaking to the change, okay, that you're experiencing. This is definitely speaking to this transitional phase, to this transitional period that you're finding yourself in right now, okay? So again, the thoughts that you think determine what this change, what this transition, it determines the thoughts that you think, the thoughts that you allow yourself to hold on to will dictate your experience with this transition, with this change that's coming through, right? So you really want to be intentional about the perspectives that you're allowing yourself to hold on to, okay? You want to be intentional about the perspectives that you're allowing to dictate the narrative for you, okay? Because they will, whatever perspectives and thoughts you hold on to, They'll either keep you entangled or they'll set you free. Okay, so we really want to be paying attention to that. Okay, and Spirit is calling you with the Wheel of Fortune. I'm also seeing that, I already kind of mentioned new beginnings. Spirit is definitely calling you into new beginnings. And it really has everything to do with you choosing yourself. It's time for you to choose yourself, okay? And hear me when I say it's time for you to choose yourself, because Spirit wants you to know we're not saying we want you to choose, I'm Macy. Spirit is not saying we want you to choose Macy. We want you to put Macy first. No, Spirit is saying we want you to put yourself first. Meaning we want you to put this eternal aspect of yourself first. We want you to put your soul first, your heart first. We want you to put your God self first, okay? Because when you fail to put your God self first, this is the result. This entanglement is the result, right? Because you are only relying on your temporary mind, your temporary self to help you navigate the waters, okay? And Spirit is saying, that's not, you are aware that that's not working, yet you're a little bit stubborn and you're unwilling to let go. But what you're being called to let go of are these old versions of yourself that didn't know better. And now you know better. Something that I like to say is healing is in the awareness, okay? Healing is in the awareness. So Spirit is saying now you know better, and it's time to choose better. It's time to do better, okay? Something that came through for me in a meditation that I hosted this week was this thought that my life is changing for the better. Okay, but am I being an active participant in that? And that same question is being posed to you as well, water signs. Are you being an active participant in things changing for the better? Or are you being stubborn? Are you keeping yourself entangled in thoughts that are not becoming of who you truly are, right? Questions that need answers. And then we have the Five of Swords, okay? The Five of Swords. Internal battles that are just simply illusions, okay? Internal battles, the Five of Swords is speaking to internal battles that are illusions, right? So we see how he's on top of the Five of Swords, and then we have these figures in the background. They represent the illusions that I'm speaking of. So the Five of Swords is identifying that these thoughts that you find yourself being entangled in, right? They're really just illusions, right? They're illusions and you're believing them. Yuck. We all do it. We all do it, right? Those thoughts are just illusions. They're lies, right? And so you really want to get into your heart space and ask your heart, right? You want to pass these lies. You want to pass these thoughts, these illusions through your heart space so that your heart space can help you filter through the fake stuff, right? Because what you got going on right here is this mental battle, and it's keeping you from reaching the mountaintop, when all you have to do is accept that this mental battle and the thoughts that keep reoccurring, they're illusions and you're believing them. You are choosing to believe them. Okay, hear that, water signs. You are choosing. You are actively choosing. There is an aspect of you, whether it's subconscious, whether you're consciously there's a part of you that is making the choice to believe these illusions, okay, to believe that these thoughts are true. And so it's keeping you in a state of in this state of just, it's keeping you, what it's doing, water signs, is it's keeping you at bay, okay? You tend to think that it's keeping what you desire at bay, but it's keeping you at bay, right? Your desires are right here. But this internal battle, these illusions that you're holding on to, they're keeping you at bay. Your desires are right there. They're right there with you. They're right next to you, right? Your desires and the manifestation of them are your next door neighbor. But you're keeping the neighbor at bay. You're keeping yourself at bay, right? You're keeping yourself separated from the neighbors. You have an issue communicating and being friendly with the neighbors. That's what I'm hearing. So, water signs. We're making some new choices this week, right? Because you deserve to reach the mountaintop. And the only person that can get you there is you. The only person that can get you to the mountaintop is yourself. Scorpio, your clarifying card is the King of Cups. Speaking of, the only person that can get you to the mountaintop is you, okay? King of Cups, all right? Scorpio, you got to step up and be daddy. You got to be daddy, okay, to yourself, okay? That's just how it came through. That's what I'm hearing. You got to step up, and you got to be daddy, okay? So if you didn't receive, if you didn't have a close, intimate relationship with your father figure, okay? If you didn't have a close, intimate relationship with your father figure, you got to step up. You got to step up in your life, Scorpio, and you have to listen to how I'm talking. You got to step up, Scorpio, and you have to nurture, just do some reflecting this week and think about, okay, had my father been very active in my life, start here. What would the ideal father-daughter, father-son relationship have looked? Use your imagination. What would that relationship what would it have looked like? Had that relationship really been available to you, what would it have looked like? Okay, write it down. Use your imagination. Go there. Create that relationship in your mind, right? In your imagination, okay? See it. Picture it. And then write it down and take out some time to nurture yourself in the ways that you see that happening in your imagination between yourself and your own father. If that was something that was missing in your life experience, Scorpio, okay? Because you're really needing to feed yourself in a new way. You're really needing to take out some time to nurture this leader within you, right? Because we have the King of Cups. So there's this message for you, Scorpio, that it's time for you to lead yourself in a new way, okay? So again, we have the Ten of Wands, okay? Because fathers have the ability to build up. And so how are you needing to build yourself up? Okay, King of Cups. How are you needing to build yourself up? How are you needing to nurture yourself? What aspects of yourself are in need of being nurtured emotionally, mentally, and are you willing to take out the time to do that? Pisces, your clarifying card is the Three of Wands. Transformation, Pisces, okay? So it feels like Pisces, the Three of Wands is definitely clarifying the Ten of Wands for you, okay? Because we have the Ten of Wands and we're speaking to, with the Ten of Wands, we were speaking of being entangled in these self-defeating thoughts, right? What do we have here? With the Three of Wands, we have a little bit of struggle, right? We have this push and pull energy, okay? And so with the Three of Wands, you're being reminded, Pisces, that it's important for you to speak loving, empowering affirmations over yourself, okay? I'm hearing take some time to bathe yourself. To take some time, Pisces, to really bathe yourself with affirmations, right? To really speak loving, healing, nurturing affirmations over yourself. That is your assignment for this week. That's your homework for this week, Pisces, because you're really needing to build you. You have a tendency, I'm hearing Pisces, to tear yourself down. And so in order for you to reach the mountaintop, Spirit is saying you need to build yourself up. You'll always be stuck in the middle, right? Because I can see you've made it, you've been climbing, you're in the middle and you're just exhausted and you're like, I'm done, okay? And you're speaking these self-defeating affirmations. You're speaking these self-defeating affirmations over yourself, and Spirit is like, we need you to make the switch, okay? Because in order for you I just lost it because I got so excited. But in order for you to get that second wind, right, you need to speak these loving, healing, empowering affirmations over yourself, because that's what's going to give you the second wind, and that's what's going to help you reach the mountaintop, okay? So Pisces, do yourself a favor and love yourself deeper. That's what my grandma would say. My grandma would say, love yourself deeper, all right? And so that's what I'm saying to you. So we have some grandmother, mother energy here, just saying, love yourself deeper. And then for you, Cancer, we have the Six of Swords. We have the Six of Swords, Cancer. The Six of Swords, Cancer. Okay. Cancer, let's look at it. You see, there's two in the boat. There's two in the boat. The one in the front for you, Cancer, represents an old version of yourself. Okay, the one in the back represents your higher self. Your higher self is rowing the boat. Your higher self is calling you forward. Your higher self is calling you forward and away. Forward and away from. Forward and away from the stories. Forward and away from the stories, Cancer, that have been holding you back. Forward and away from the stories, Cancer, that have been causing you to choose addiction over self-love, right? Calling you forward and away from the stories that you have been allowing to harm you, Cancer. So Spirit is calling you away from that. Spirit is calling you forward. Spirit is calling you away from the illusions, because the stories that you're holding on to, the stories, Cancer, that you're regurgitating, the stories that you're allowing to play over and over in your mind, they are illusions. You are in a brand new moment. You are in a brand new space. You are in a brand new reality, okay? And so the grounding is especially important for you, Cancer, because what you are needing to ground into is this now moment, this reality, right? Where in the past, you may not have had control over your narrative. And right now, because you're so stuck in the illusions, you don't have control over your narrative. But if you can release yourself, release the attachment that you have to these stories, to the illusions, and bring yourself to this present moment and allow yourself to be here, allow yourself to ground, what you will experience, Cancer, is you'll experience your power in a new way. You'll find yourself feeling as if you are in control, because you are. You are. So Spirit is calling you forward and away from the stories of the past, all right? Water signs, this is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this reading with you. Thank you so much for receiving. Thank you for being present and for just supporting me and the work that I share here. If you have any thoughts, questions, if you need clarity, make sure you leave them in the comments, all right? I would like to invite you to join me for the weekly meditation that I host every Thursday night. It is a group meditation, and it is always a beautiful time, and it is just us getting into the heart space, getting into the heart center, and letting go of what we need to let go of so that our true, authentic voice can come forward, all right? You can sign up for that by clicking on the link in the description box. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe, okay? I'll see you next time.